me.
Yeah, you answer. Give me a part of a circle.
Radius.
Nice.
Radius.
All right, define radius for me since you wanted to give me more example.
It's the line that goes from the middle of the circle to the edge.
Right. So let's write that down. He got that this is very close to the answer. All right, it's very close to the answer. Let's look at this picture. All right. So he said that you start from the one point in the circle to the edge, right? That's what you said?
Yes, sir.
Right, but let's understand what that point is and what that edge is called. Right, let me take register. One moment. Let me just take register. All right. So that point that you take it from is going to be called your center. So write that for me. The point at which every circle begins, it's called its center. So the radius is taken from a place called O, which is the center. Right? Now, in that radius, that center point extends to only one place on the circle. So it touches from the center and goes to one position on the circumference. You'll know what the circumference means in a short while. So write that for me.
Sir, I know it didn't surround the circle.
Right. Okay, good. So you guys have a little background in circles. Good. So write that definition for me. A radius is simply a line, segment, or just a line that connects a point on the circle to its center. Yeah?
Can you say the definition of a circle again, please?
The definition of a circle is an enclosed shape.
Oh, sorry.
Let me write the definition down. So let's create a little definition for a circle. The definition of a circle.
An enclosed shape.
Right. But this can be found.
360 degrees.
Yeah, correct. I was just about to say that. But you can go to page 400. What page is it? Page 400. All right, here you go. Page 485 on the volume 1 textbook. Right? If you don't have it, remember you have a soft copy of it in your portal. Right. Page 485. Here's the definition. A circle is defined as a curve. Yeah, page 485 on the PDF. It might be a little bit more downwards because the pages aren't perfect. So go down a little bit more. Like go to page like 419. Tell me if you see circle heading. Just scroll down until you see circle heading. But let's define circle. So a circle is a plane curve, right? Formed by a set of points.
Sir, can you repeat that?
Right. It's on the screen.
Circle is a or whatever.
So a circle. Yeah, it's on the screen. So a circle is a plane curve formed by a set of points given a fixed point. And what would that fixed point be?
The center.
Right.
Center point.
I.e. the center. There we go. Nice. Okay. I.e. let me put just center. I.e. center. All right, there we go. Now that we know the definition, let me put that down. Definition. So when you see on an exam, which is next week, what is the definition of a circle? You just say it's a plane curve formed by a set of points given a fixed point, the center. Okay, great. Now that we know the definition, the parts of a circle, we went through the radius, which is just simply, and you can draw a little a circle, and then you can just make your jottings create a little sketch on the circle for each part of it. So you go create a little sketch for the radius, put a line from the center point to touch any point on the circle, call it your point M, and you say the line OM is a line segment that joins the point on the circle to the center, and that is our radius. And a cool little fact, the radius can be any point on the circle. So look down. Here's another example of a radius. So the radius could be multiple points touching one center point. That would be still a radius.
I was asking you if you could send the link for the PDF.
So send it again. All right, no problem. Check the chat. Check the chat in 3 seconds. 5, 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, there we go. All right, so let me disable the waiting room, right? Because I really don't hear the sound or anything. They should put that as an update. You hear a sound when someone joins. All right, let's continue. So welcome everyone. We just defined what a circle is, and we said a circle is simply a plane curve formed by a set of points given a fixed point, which is the center. Then when we finished with the definition, we moved into the parts of a circle, right? And the first part of the circle that we wanted to understand was the radius. And we said that the radius was just a line segment formed from the center to any point, and that is your radius. Then we gave an example as to different radiuses, can be any point. So now we're going to move on to the diameter. Anyone know the definition of a diameter?
Yes.
All right, tell me the definition that you have. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Oh, my bad. All right. Yes, what's the definition of a diameter?
A diameter is a line that touches two sides of a circle and also touches the center.
Right. So we can say then a diameter is a line that touches 2 points, but also must pass through the center. So let's write that. So you're gonna say a diameter is simply a line that joins any 2 points on the circle and passes through the center.
You send the Google the PDF, not the room research. I was going to say the room research.
Okay.
Not the PDF.
Let me send that as well. So let me go back out.
I'm scrolling down a little too fast, so like I can't get to write it off.
Okay, so let me pause it for 1 moment there, and you can just write it off.
I'm at radius.
Okay, radius, and let me scroll back up. There we go. So radius is a line that joins any point on the circle, right? So when you're finished, guys, so I can continue. All right, so here's the Rome research link for those who so desires it. Let me share it.
Sir, can you put it back on diameter because it's on radius?
All right, there you go. All right, here's the link for those who want to use my website instead. All right, there you go. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, so let me know when you're finished with the diagram, and then we can continue. So we've covered radius, diameter, and the definition of a circle. Now, there's one key aspect of a circle that really is very important for us to define. We need to know the circumference. And someone told me that.
What it is?
Right. So tell me a definition. Let me hear it.
I said it around the distance around the circle.
Right.
Or perimeter.
Right. Correct. Wow. I'm actually amazed that you know that. Okay, great. So you said it can be the diameter, it can be the circumference or the perimeter. And we're going to teach you why you can use any word interchangeably. Right? So the reason why, so let's go to circumference first. So after diameter, circumference. All right. So let's scroll down. Let's scroll down. And you can also have infinite diameters as well, as long as the 2 points on any point of the circle touches through the center. That will still be called a diameter. But a circumference, as he said, is just simply the distance around the circle. The term circumference can the term circumference can be changed to diameter.
Sir, could you resend the link, please?
All right, sure. One moment.
Radius diameter.
Here you go. So the distance.
Just call me when you're gonna ask them what's the what's it called, formula.
All right.
Yes.
Not a problem. All right.
Everyone knows the formula thing, the 3.14 thing.
Okay, you guys know that. Okay, so let's quickly go through and cover this then, since you guys know that bit. So the reason why he said that you can use perimeter, right? Let's scroll on to find out why. So go, what is the circumference? So let's take a little detour. So the circumference is simply the distance around the circle. Oh, that picture isn't loaded. All right, let's go on the perimeter. Right. So the definition of a perimeter is the sum of all shapes or sum of all sides on a diagram or a polygon. My bad. Right. So if the perimeter adds up each side on a shape, how many sides does a circle have? Technically one, right? So if we're adding the sides, which is just one in a circle, then that means we only have one side to add, hence the term circumference, because circumference is that one side. So you can use the term perimeter or circumference when you're talking about a circle, because both of them is adding the same side, which is the circumference. Okay. Now let's scroll back up. No, we've talked about
microphone.
So we're not going to go into the formula as yet for circumference. We're going to need to know two more parts of the circle. Then we go into calculating those parts. Right? So,
I know.
All right. Has anyone heard of the word chord before? I'm not talking about the guitar string. But have you heard?
Sir.
Right. Sir. So tell me now, what type of line on a circle is a chord similar to?
It's similar to the radius in the sense that it's like a line, but it's on the edge of the circle, like a.
All right. Yeah, you're almost there, but the thing is, a chord.
Isn't it basically like just any point to another point on the circle? So it doesn't really matter where it is.
Right. Exactly, but
No, it's from an edge to another edge.
Right. So look at this for me. A chord is similar to the diameter.
It just doesn't have to pass through the middle point or
right.
center point.
The difference is that, sorry, this for me. A chord is similar to a chord is similar to the diameter. The difference is that it does not pass through the center point.
Sir, can you go back up, please?
Yeah, one moment. Center point. Oh, so that's the difference. So let's scroll back up. All right, here's the picture. So now you can designate any 2 points on the circle that does not pass through the center, and that would be your chord. Okay. Now, can anyone tell me how many, since you have now a chord on your shape, how many parts is that circle divided into?
2.
Right. And is there a region that is larger than the next?
Yes.
Right. So you could say then that region is kind of it's more important, correct? Because if it has the most length. So you could call that it has the major side of the circle, correct? Wait. Guys, if you're not talking, can you mute your mic? Guys, if you're not talking, can you mute your mic?
Sir.
Uh-huh.
Can you go down, please?
All right. A moment. There you go. So here's another example of different chords in a circle. Okay. So let me go back to what I was saying. If you have now the major part of a circle, let me wait one moment till I finish drawing that. Okay.
Something.
Uh-huh.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
Do we write, like, draw off the shapes I meant to say?
Yeah, so I said you should sketch one general circle. Because I said you should sketch one general circle. And as we're going along, just make a tiny sketch as to each part of it. So you don't have to repeatedly draw different circles. You can just draw one general circle and then put the different parts and label it on it.
Sir.
Right. So.
Sir, can you go down, please?
Go down. Okay. There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So when she's finished there, I was just saying now that when you put a single chord on your circle, it divides it technically into two parts, right? A large portion and a small portion. And why we know it's a large portion or small is that it's never passing through the center, so it's always gonna be a large part and right. Because when you pass to the center, it perfectly divides it. Correct?
Yes.
All right. Now stick with me. Now, when you divide, when you put a chord, so let's write this. When there, oh, my bad. When there is a chord on a circle, right, the smaller part is called, anyone know? If it's not major, it is?
Minor.
Right.
Minor.
Right. So,
I'm a minor, don't hurt me.
So the smaller part is called the minor.
I just figured out why COVID-19 doesn't affect children.
The minor part.
That's for minors, because it's 19 and it's legally.
That's a good one.
Illegal.
I'll use that one. All right. So the smaller part is called the minor, and the larger portion is called the major segment. Here we go. Okay. Now that is a chord. Okay. So what I want you to do as a little exercise, when you draw your chord on your circle, just lightly shade the minor, and then use a darker shade to shade the major. Good? Let me give you a moment. Okay. Now, when you see a truck that's driving past and it's carrying a load, what do we call it? It's called, starts with S. S truck. All right, no. Okay.
Segment.
When a team is in the bottom 16 in our tournament, you call that they're in the dash finals.
What's a bottom 16?
Like the top 16 teams in a tournament, right? What do you call that? They are in the dash finals.
Sometimes they call it the round of 16.
Right, but what's the official term? If they're in the top 16, they are in the
top 16 now.
All right.
Semi-final.
Right. God, thank you. Wow. Okay, good. So she said it. So when you're in the bottom 16, it's called the quarterfinals, and then when you're in the other half of that, it's called the semifinals. So the reason why I was giving that example is because that word semi is important for our next part of the circle. Okay?
Sure, she said quarter.
Right. So I was saying that when you go down now to the top 8 from the top 16, that's called semifinals.
Come on.
Right. So now the word semi is important. So, because if we went half down from 16, right? Semi means you go half. So what?
Yeah.
So tell me now, what would you call half of this circle?
Semicircle.
Right, there you go. So we can say when, so let's write this now. When a chord passes through the center point.
Isn't that a diameter?
Right, exactly. Because look at it. It says a diameter is also a chord. But when the chord passes through the center point, that is when it's a diameter. Right. Good job, guys. I like how you guys are analyzing it. Good. So when a chord passes through the center point, it is not only called as a diameter, but it makes the circle into two equal parts, which is called semicircles. Let's write that. So when a chord passes through the center point, it is called a diameter. My bad. Diameter. Right? That equally divides it into two parts, which is now called semicircles. And you write the semi with a hyphen. The dash you see between it is called a hyphen. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So you see how fast. So we're moving along very good, very well. My bad. We're moving along very well. So we've covered the radius, diameter, circumference, the chord, the types of chord, which is major and minor, and then we talked about the semicircle. So now we can go down now and touch the final part of this object, which is the arcs. Okay. What?
An arc. I know what that is. I know what an arc is. No, let me explain.
All right. Tell me what an arc is.
Okay, an arc. What just happened? An arc is 2 points. It's basically close to the circumference, except it doesn't go around the entire circle.
Okay.
It only goes around one section.
Right. So it's
from A to B. It's 2 points of the exterior.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Good. So it's a portion.
Shut up.
So it's a portion. He got it though. So both of you guys got it correct. So you said it's a portion. It's a portion of the circumference. So write this for me. An arc is the distance between 2 points on the circumference of a circle. Let's go down. And then when we talk further now about arcs, we're gonna go through our last 2 points of this exercise. Because obviously now, if I was to tell you that technically that arc kind of divides the circle, would you believe me?
Alright, sir, repeat that.
Alright.
I really wouldn't, but yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Alright.
Sir, can you repeat that? I didn't understand.
That arc you see KL, do you see the arc KL?
Yeah.
If you were to connect the point K to the center point, what would that be called? Let's write that down. Let's write that down.
I have no clue.
If we were to connect the point K to the center, remember what we said about the definition of a start with R?
Radius.
Right. Because a radius, yeah, because look, the K is 1 point. The K is 1 point on the circumference that connects to the center. And that is the definition of a radius. 1 point from the circumference to the center point. So if we were to, right, you got it. So if we were to connect now, so if we were to connect that point to the center, it will be called the radius. But look at this for me. Is it just one radius we have or two?
We would have one radius.
Two. Why?
Wow. Because I'm gonna let you explain it because I've done a lot.
All right. So I want someone to explain to me now. Why would this arc make two radius?
I do not know.
I know.
For the circle, and I think I would have one for the arc itself.
Right. Isabella, can you guess?
Because K and L are 2 points, and then the center is another point.
Right.
And then they touch.
Right. So she just said because we have 2 points on the arc and we just connected 1 point, we still have a remaining point L to connect. So,
we'd have to connect K and L and O and L.
Right. So that would form like a little pie. You know, when you cut a pie, you have practically a smaller portion coming out to eat. Right. Right.
Isn't that a sector?
Right. So that's what we're going into now. So Isabel, good job. That's what we're going into now. So when we divided a chord, so when we divided a chord, what did we get? Segments, correct?
Yes.
So
or sectors, as Isabel said.
Right. So let's go back up. When we divided a chord into 2 parts, right? The smaller part was called the minor, the larger part was called the major. But let's look at this now. When we divide a circle using arcs, we don't say sectors, right? We don't say segments, my bad. We say sectors. So a sector is different from a segment. And let's look at why. I think I have a diagram. Let me check.
Isn't a sector a certain degree and a segment is
so
a section?
Right. So look at the definition of the word segment. Segment is just a 2-point line. But with the sector, right, you have an angle. And I wish I could show you, but it's on page 487. Should have the virtual notebook. I mean the soft copy.
Wait, sir, can you go back to when we divided something over?
Right. So let's go back here. When we connect the points K to O and L to O, right, you essentially have a pi, like a small portion, right?
I guess so.
Right. Let me look for a diagram. I'm pretty sure I have a diagram. One moment. Nope, I don't have a diagram. Please just go on page 487. If you don't have the book, it's on the soft copy, which is in the Zoom chat.
Is it this one?
Okay, let me look at your screen. One moment. No, yes, I'll tell you the page in that one, but we're using this one right now.
Nice.
But if you don't have this one, the soft copy is in the Zoom chat. All right, it's on page 487. If you don't have the book, but I'll tell you what page is in the red book after class, so not to worry, because we're still using both books. Okay, so let's continue. So when we divide now an arc by putting the 2 points connecting to the center, right, that essentially creates like a pie. You know when your mom is cutting up a cake to give you a slice?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Right. So when the knife cuts one part of the pie and it touches the center, right, that is what? A radius, correct?
Radius.
Right. Good job. So when it goes to the other part of the pie now to cut the other end, that's another radius as well, correct?
Yes.
Right. So let's write this one.
Sir, why do we do tangent? Tangent?
Tangent. That's the next one. Look.
Tangent.
Right below it. You have tangents. Where is it?
It's above.
Oh, it's above.
All
right,
second.
It's directly after. So it should be after this. So let's write this one. When you have two radius, such as the pi, two radius, they are called radii. They are. Let's scroll up. Let me scroll up. They are called radii. There you go. Okay. Okay. All right.
So when did class end anyways?
Can you repeat?
I was just asking what time the class ends because I didn't remember what time the class ends.
It ends at 2:15.
Oh, time flies.
Time flies. Right.
Time flies when you're doing math.
That means you're having fun in the class.
It feels like I've been in here for 10 years.
Right.
No, I'm joking, sir.
I know. Right. So let's flash back to 10 minutes ago when we were talking about the chords. What was the smaller portion called?
The minor.
Right. So in this one
minor.
now. So in this one, the small piece of cake that you cut, right? That will be called the minor.
Sir, but who cuts the cake like that?
Me.
You cut the cake
So
like
I
that.
will cut the cake.
So if we have
we cut it in squares. We cut it in squares because I'm a pro. If anyone cuts squares in circles, something's wrong with them.
Yeah.
Honestly, that seems like something Otto would do. I would never do perfectly round. Just perfectly round. Are you doing that because my name starts with O? Is that right? No, your name is Jeff. What are you talking about? My name is Jeff.
Major section, right? And that's practically that for this section. So if we have the small piece of cake from the total amount of slices, that's called a minor sector. But if we take the whole cake that is left, that's called a major sector. And that's that for arcs. So just to refresh, right? Arcs are made up of 2 points. When you connect those 2 points to the center, they are called?
Sorry?
Yeah?
Is there a difference between a minor sector and a minor segment?
Right, there is a difference. Here's why. A minor segment, let's scroll up. A minor segment touches 2 points on the circle, correct? You see that?
Yes.
But a minor sector, right? It not
touches
only
the center.
Right, it only touches this. It goes through the center as well as touching 2 points. Understand?
Yes.
All right, good. So now that should cover this part of the other part. So let's summarize what we just talked about. So an arc is made up of 2 points. Those 2 points touch the center, and that makes up a sector. The smaller part, is called minor. The larger
what
part.
was that?
Can you repeat?
I just heard gibberish.
That was Cantonese, stupid.
Right.
It's not Cantonese.
Right.
Yeah, you
So
stupid.
let's continue, guys. Come on, let's continue. So the smaller part is called the minor sector, and the larger part is called the major sector. All right. Then when we're finished with that, let's recap what we've done so far. Then we talked about chords. Chords is simply when you have 2 points that does not pass through the center. The smaller part is called the minor. The minor what?
Sector. I think, yeah, sector, the minor sector.
No, remember, sector goes with arcs, segment goes with chords. So let me write that for you. So let's scroll back up because we're on chords now. So the difference.
I thought sector is radius.
Look here for me. So sector goes with arcs. Remember, 2 points on an arc. Are you guys there?
Yes, sir.
Right. So we said 2 points. They combine now to make sectors because they pass through the center. But when it does not pass through the center and you just touch 2 points, that's called a segment. And that's a chord. Okay, so this notebook will be sent to you as well if you didn't have the notes correctly. But we're on to our last part of the circle that we need to know, which is called, someone said it previously, which was tangents. Scroll up.
That was me.
Yeah. So tangents now. Let's go into tangents.
Weird, but okay.
Okay, now everything that we've been talking about previously, right? It passed through at least inside of the circle, right? Everything has been inside of the circle, correct?
Yes.
But would you believe me if I told you that you can actually...
No, we're going to the outside.
Right, so... Right, exactly. So now...
Smart?
Huh?
Y'all be smart?
Yes, you're very smart, man. Good job. So now...
Y'all smart.
So when we have any line or any shape that touches the circle at 1 point, that is called our tangent, or your point of tangency. So write this for me. A tangent is a line that intersects the circle at exactly 1 point. So look at the line that continues on right at K. The point of tangency is K because that's the only point where that line touches the circle at all. But it's still a part of the circle because it does interact with it. If it did not even touch it at 1 point, then it wouldn't be a part of the circle. Right, Tim, when I finish with that, and then we're gonna learn how we're at the final part. And someone said it earlier, you can calculate the circumference and the area, correct? I think it was Otis. I think he said circumference can be calculated, right?
Sir, can you repeat tangent because I don't understand it?
All right, so tangent. So look at this circle for me. Let's go back up. This circle, let's say a line was passing by and it suddenly touched the circle at 1 point. Because it touched the circle at that point, it's still a part of the circle. So we call it a tangent. And we show you exactly.
Sir, do you mean like a line that has nothing to do with the circle, touches the circle,
right,
and becomes parts of the circle?
Right. So look at the arrowhead. You see that the line is continuing in one direction, but because it interacts with the circle at 1 point, the point of tangency, we have to say it's a part of the circle. So the line K, the point K of the line touches both the circle and the line that's passing by, and that's a tangent. So definition is a line that interacts with the circle at only 1 point.
Yes.